Hey everybody, I'm Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at a carnival-themed card game called Mucho, Macho. In this game, every player is going to be, every round, playing two cards simultaneously. They'll reveal those cards, they'll compare strengths with the other players, and then, going around the table based on strength, they will pluck a couple of cards from everything that's showing. And they are going to keep one back in their hand. They'll recycle that one back into their playable cards. The other one gets scored. And that's basically it. You continue going until all of the cards in everyone's hands have dwindled, and then you see how well you did. Let me show you how this plays out on the table. Then we'll come on back after that, and I'll tell you if that sounds clever and is really not that clever, or if it actually brings something new to the table. At the beginning of a game, each player is given their own deck of cards, 10 cards numbered 0 through 9, and they have one of these placeholder cards as well, which shows their suit, if you want to think of it that way, and they're all on the card you began with. And then you are going to also place in the center a number of these cards equal to the number of players. So we have 1 through 4 here for our 4 players. The game is going to be played over a set number of rounds, which is when the cards run out. I believe it's 9 rounds. And you are going to, every round, you are going to pick 2 cards and play them face down in front of you. Everyone's going to do this, and so I'll randomize everyone else's play just for right now. All right? And so we've got that. We've got this. All right. And then they are all revealed, and you make the larger number possible. And so in this case, a 0 and a 4, that's 40. I've played a 7 and a 5, so not 57, 75, and so on. Here we have 76, and here we have 32. And then you assign these cards to the players, depending on how hard they hit that with that hammer, right? That represents your strength. So 76 is first, then 75, and then we've got our 40 and our 32. Once that's done, utilizing this turn order, you are going to take 2 cards from everything displayed. This could be your own cards or anyone else's. And so let's say I am going to have our star player over here. They are going to take this 7 and this 7 in front of themselves. Of the 2 cards, in this case they are identical. Okay, so actually let me change up our my scenario here, just to help illustrate this. Let's say they took a 7 and a 3. Of the 2 cards, you are going to take the one with the highest number of tickets. Those are down here across the bottom. And as the number on the center of the card goes up, the tickets across the bottom go down. Okay, so for example, the 0 here is a very low strength, but worth 4 tickets. And tickets is what you want. That's how you win the game. And so I would have that player take the 3 and the 7 here, worth 3 and 1 tickets, respectively. Whichever one has the most tickets goes back in their hand. So this player is going to take this one and put it back in their play hand. The other one goes under their placeholder as victory points. And the victory points are the tickets. So they do that. They are done. Player number 1 is done. Player number 2 would take a look around. It's this one here, and I would take 2 cards. So I'm going to take the 0 here and this 2. The 0 is worth more tickets, so this goes in my hand. That's bad. I don't want zeros in my hand. But having done that allows me to take 3 tickets and put them under my placeholder. And I am done. That was player number 2. Player number 3 is going to take a look at what's left here, and they are going to take these 2. There's a tie for tickets there, so they'll take the stronger one in their hands, and they'll score this one. And they're done. And then player number 4 simply has these 2 cards left. Well, they put this one in their hand, and they are, it's that player there. And they are going to score this one, and that is 1 round. Then everyone grabs their hand, and they play again. And so, just to illustrate my point from earlier, our 9 here, strongest card in the game, has 0 tickets. Our 0 has 4 tickets. This continues until you're left with a single card that you've taken back into your hand, and so you can no longer play a pair. At that point, that last card in your hand you simply will get rid of, and you will reveal all the cards under your placeholder, count up your tickets, and see who has the highest score. And so the main idea here being, you can strengthen your hand, but you'll be taking few tickets and scoring low-scoring cards. Or you can take two quote-unquote weak cards and put a bad card in your hand, like a 0 or a 1 or a 2, but you'll get some victory points that are substantial under your placeholder. All right, that should give you an idea of how the whole thing goes. So let's go back up top and let me tell you how I think and feel that it plays out. All right, so let's talk about this game. We're going to start off with thematic ties. I thought the theme it's okay, you know what I mean? It's largely uninspiring. As soon as I explained it to anyone and we started playing, everyone immediately forgot about it. It did not inspire really any table talk about the theme. It's uninteresting for the most part. It's a theme because I guess they think it kind of helps. I don't even know if I would consider that the theme here helps teach the game, because that idea of taking two cards and keeping the best one, the one you want to score, is the one you don't get to score, is counterintuitive. And the theme does not help alleviate that. So I'm not giving it a negative in a theme, but it's also just there. The aesthetics, I think, are also, for the most part, just there. The numbers are numbers. The illustrations are okay. You know, the card quality and all of that, that's nice. That's fine. This line of games, of the best unedited games of the year that DV puts out, they always have very good production values, so that's nice. But the artwork is quite minimal in this game, and what is there is just fine, you know. The replayability, I think, is very low. The game largely feels like it plays itself, and all you're doing is thinking like, oh, I'm going to play high this round. Oh, I'm going to play low this round. Why? Because I want to try that. And so it'll play out exactly the same way every time you play. There are no surprises, or no fun surprises anyway in the game. It's the same game largely every time you play it. That's bad replayability. Game length is fine. They list 10 minutes on the box. That's a little fast, but it is quick enough. You know, you're playing your 9 rounds or whatever it is, and then you're done. That's fine. The game isn't quite long enough to feel really repetitive. So that's okay, but it is the same exact thing you are doing 9 times in a row. Again, no curve, you know, no build here. It's just sort of the same stuff. Ease of play. The game is easy to play except for that counterintuitive rule that I always have to explain a bunch of times because people always want to score the good card, you know. Makes sense. And it always takes a couple of rounds for everyone to sort of figure out like, okay, so fine. So when I'm taking cards, I'll take 2 good numbers, like 2 9s or whatever, and I scored nothing, but I have a 9, or I take 2 crummy cards, and I have a bad card in my hand now, like a 0 or a 1, but I score some tickets. Okay. That takes a little getting used to. And it's not, you know, there's no depth there, right? I mean, you either go for one thing or the other, depending on how you want to play it. So the ease of play, again, I'm not slamming it for this, but it's also not, you know, you're not saying, oh, yeah, you're at the strength competition, and the way you explain the game using that theme is really easy. There's no quirky rules. No, it's kind of funky. Lastly, tactics and strategy and luck and things like that. Here's my main issue at the end of the day with this game. The game has an illusion of control. This idea of you can, you know, this duality of you can make your hand stronger but get fewer points, or the reverse of that. Here's the point. It feels to me, and I might be wrong, but this is how it feels to me, that this is ultimately kind of a zero-sum game, you know. You either score garbage the first half of the game and have an amazing hand that is going to just annihilate every player the last third of the game or so, or you just kill it with the high numbers early in the game and get a bunch of points. You end up making your hand terrible with a bunch of like 1s and 2s and 3s, and then you score nothing and you get like leftover stuff at the end of the game, you know. So you either score early or you score later, but you score. It's sort of a again, it evens out because those things are at odds. So I found it to be based basically on luck. If you are playing cards that are strong because you decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to play strong this round because yes, and everybody else sort of falls in line with playing cards that allow you to get a little luckier with your plucks, then you'll win. You'll probably win, right? And that's all there is to it. There is no real decision between being sneaky with, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna not score a lot, but make my hand strong, and I'll get you later in the game. Yeah, you can do that, but you can do the exact opposite also, and it's the same thing. You'll get a bunch of points early in the game. It doesn't matter when you scored them. You know what I mean? You just scored them. So I found that to be, once that became apparent in my plays, I found it to be very uninspiring, and the replayability is just not there either. So there's no real sense of discovery or excitement here. So this is a pass for me. It's a game that I like these kinds of games, little card games. And I always like and enjoy discovering the games in this line. As I said, the best unedited game of the year that DV Giochi puts out every year. But often, not always, but oftentimes they are just okay, and sometimes they are games that sound clever, they sound like they got a cool twist, but that twist ends up playing out in an uninteresting way, and this is unfortunately one of them. So Mucho, Macho, if you see it out there, I would say you can safely pass on this. There's a lot better card games out there, a lot better simultaneous selection card games, more clever, more engaging concepts at play than are to be found here. So there you go. That's it for me. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.